Welcome to the Real Pet Industry News. I'm Clayton and I am here today with Sam. And what have we got this week, Sam?
Right, we are going to start with the state of the D2C fresh food subscriptions. Different Dog, the premium fresh dog subscription service, has announced that it's raised a further £10 million from new and existing investors to accelerate their mission to change dogs' lives with real food. LOL, Clayton, and that's just me, not the press note. The funding will enable the company to move to a new state-of-the-art facility in Telford, the dog capital of the UK, expanding capacity to serve thousands more dogs with its hand-cooked, human-grade meals. The company is also investing in marketing to grow its customer base and hiring top talent to accelerate growth. Different Dog offers a personalized subscription service designed to make feeding fresh, nutritious meals easy for dog owners. It's it's one of these D2C companies. It's a cookie cutter sort of button up box, in my opinion. But anyway, customers start by providing details about their dog, including age, breed, activity level, and dietary needs. And based on this, Different Dog creates a tailored meal plan using fresh, hand-cooked, human-grade ingredients. Now, this latest investment follows 5 consecutive years of revenue doubling year on year, fueled by a passionate, loyal, and growing customer base, according to them. An interesting quote by Alex, co-founder of Different Dog, and she's a very, very interesting and, dare I say, inspiring lady. More and more dog owners are seeking healthier options for their dogs and seeing clear benefits from feeding hand-cooked fresh food. Now, no one is truly making a profit from selling food online. And this is not coming from me. This is coming from the chairman of Marks and Spencer's. So Archie Norman has declared that the online food sector remains a desert of profit while playing up the long-term prospects of its Ocado retail joint venture. Now, he also said that there has been more wealth destroyed in people trying to develop food online businesses than any other industry I can think of. So let's start by talking about the D2C business model. And I think in all reality, it is here to stay. So it was probably pioneered by a lot of these fresh food companies or D2C fresh food companies, and they have created a brand new category within pet food. They're not raw, they're not kibble, they are something different. And I think there is something to that. What do you think?
So, again, I think I say this a lot, but I think the whole industry has been supercharged by the Nom Nom acquisition in the US a couple of years ago by Mars for $1 billion. So that was sort of the first one that really was successful. Was again very similar model to what all of these guys are putting together. So a subscription-based model, um, not raw, not kibble. These cooked dog foods which people can get on board with. And but the difference is, look, between the US and the UK is the US is a much higher income country. Um, there is also big geographical differences between the US and the UK, which lends itself to subscription services more. Um, and look, I think it's just been proved that the market's already flooded with these companies, and that at best one of them will survive. And they're all throwing huge amounts of VC and private equity money into this. So, for them to raise £10 million in equity against what they're doing, and I haven't seen their books, but I can guarantee you all their revenue is being driven by unprofitable marketing. So Meta advertising, Google advertising, high cost stands at things like Crufts, etc., where if you were to actually put that into the realm of a normal company, they wouldn't be profitable. And look, there's the other side to that as well, with the side which is darker, in my opinion. Look, if people want to lose money, spend a fortune on it, I don't care generally. But the darker side to this is in the meantime, where all this money is flooding in and being burnt, it's affecting normal pet stores, normal dog food companies who are doing things in a sustainable, profitable manner. And this is the dark side of it for me, is that normal companies who are just building, who are just trying to make a living, like pet stores like your own, they're being affected and their customer base is being dwindled by the huge amount of marketing they're doing. And a lot of that can be Facebook ads and stuff, but they all have crazy opening offers like 50% off for the first however long, and free meals and all this sort of stuff. And like, it's not a sustainable model. It's just burning cash. And for 99% of these companies, or 90% of these companies, they're not going to survive because there isn't the space in the market for all of them to be sustainable, effective companies.
Yeah, I mean, some of these companies are going bust. I mean, I'll just pull up one example. So I've got a friend, and she spends £200 per month on different dog to feed a Frenchie. And that's insane, in my opinion. So the churn in dog food, aside from the premium price, is absolutely diabolical. I mean, I can entice any pet parent with, half a brain in terms of salesmanship to switch from kibble to raw or vice versa on any given day, or to go from a very, very premium food to another completely different dog food, like instantly. The consumer is very, very fickle in this industry. So the fact that these business models rely on subscriptions, when you factor in the churn, it's just, there's no way they all survive. It's impossible. The only one that's going to survive is Butternux, and they have raised hundreds of millions of pounds. The rest, Years and Different Dog and Marley Bones and Boost and Pure Pet Food, they are all knockoffs. They're all trying to do the same, which is fine. But as you say, the only ones benefiting from this are Mark Zuckerberg and Sundar Pichai from Alphabet. Like, everyone, and they're both laughing. Everyone else, they're not making money. Like, they aren't making money. It's impossible for them to make money.
But also, like, the other thing as well is that when you look at these companies, they get so addicted to these huge amounts of like equity money flowing into them. I question whether any of them are ever long term, like, have any value. For them, it's all about get the revenue to a certain point, then get an acquisition and get melded into an existing like Mars or Nestle business. And that's really the goal, because I don't think they're ever going to be sustainable, like year in, year out, profitable. We're here, we're doing something exciting, and then we're going to expand our range and do this and it. No, this is just blow it up, get an acquisition, get out, make money for the people who've invested. And in the meantime, they're just obviously just taking an axe through, the normal ecosystem. And it's, I don't like it, and I don't see that it's profitable. But for these guys, it's just casino. I say this all the time. In these investors, it's casino to them. It's like, look, if I put 100 million down, can I turn it into 500 million? Can I turn it into $1 billion? And if I don't, I've got 10 more of these projects, and half of them will pay off. And I think that's really what it is. But the problem is for normal people, it just obliterates their business in the meantime.
Do you think, right, and screw the little guy like myself, do you think that if you are an investor, private equity, whatever, and you are trying to compete with one of these companies who, interestingly, in my opinion, has no moat. They have no moat because they don't have any operating leverage. There's nothing inherently different. There's no software. There's no proprietary anything. There's only just marketing and food, which is a commodity. Can I actually 5x my money? Can I actually 10x my money within the D2C fresh food category. Do you think that's still possible? I mean, here in the UK at least, and in America as well, the market is now reaching the point of saturation, in my opinion. And as you say, there's only a very, very small amount of people who are going to spend £200 per month to feed a Frenchie. I mean, I have a golden retriever. How much is it going to be? 300 quid? So do you think private equity can make money still within this category?
See, the thing is with private equity is the way they will look at it is there is no inherent IP with it. So the only option they have is to be one of the first to market and to absolutely blow it up. And that means throwing an absolute fortune at it and to try and take as much market share as they can until they become acquisitionable. Do I think it can work? But I mean, it's been proved to work once before, and this is half the problem: is that had the Nom Nom acquisition never happened, these companies would not have had the private equity leverage that they've got because they can point to a successful case study. Do I think it can happen again? I don't think in the UK it will happen because I don't see that subscription models have the same traction that they do in America. I mean, look, 80% of Chewy's business online, which is a 12 billion a year business, it comes through auto ship. Subscription is massive in the US. That's not the case here. It's not. We live in a much smaller country. We have a much more of a culture of actually shopping in stores. And I think Amazon is so much stronger as a market leader in pet when it comes to the online space and online companies. An interesting thing is that Years, I think, which is one of them, is now selling on Amazon, which I thought was an interesting move because I think it's, Amazon is where it's at in terms of online sales. And I think that if you're buying online from your Butternux boxes and blah, 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 it makes you still don't have the level of consumer confidence that you need, I think, to hit the levels that they want to hit. The Butternux box has gone into Pets at Home. And so I think it's difficult, but I don't look. My feeling is the scale at what they're aiming for isn't going to be what they want it to be. But if they can then turn that into a business after all that money goes in that makes a profit, they'll still get an acquisition, and maybe their investors don't quite get the payoff they want. But but like I say, in the meantime, it causes havoc with the industry.